ladies and gentlemen. We are the Millie Goats. I am AK. A different time on a Wednesday for us, as it is the holiday evening, New Year's Eve. Happy New Year's, everybody. If you're listening to the podcast, we appreciate that. It's going to be an abbreviated version of our normal Thursday show or our Thursday podcast. And if you are checking us out for the first time, go to Spotify or iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Amazon, iHeart, all the podcast places. Subscribe, like, all that stuff. But let's just take a minute here to thank the ACC, the Big 12, and the Big 10, because we just had an absolutely electric game, a 24-14 win for the Miami Hurricanes. And Mario Cristobal is infuriated if you say the U is back. He doesn't have to say it, but it is really fun to say the U is back. Just like saying, are the Cowboys back? It's our year, so on and so forth. We get it, Mr. Cristobal, so on and so forth. You don't want to do that. The Canes are here and now. You're in the present, da-da-da-da-da, whatever. But as a fan, it's the best to say, is the U back? And then always, no, they're not back. But right now, it looks like they are back. So we had the Cotton Bowl Classic, worst trophy of the bowls. I don't know why they do bowls trophies before you get to the end of the playoff. That makes no sense to me. But anyways, we had another team that had a bye in the playoff that lost. I think that's, 5 in a row now? So do you even want the bye? I mean, if you're the Ohio State Buckeyes, I mean, you might as well, having the bye is just not a good thing, apparently. We're going to pull up the scores and everything here, but I mean, let me just start with this. These bowl games, the ones today, just like the AFC NFC champions, dog, just a college. I get it if you're in the semifinals. If you're in the semifinals, yes. But for the quarterfinals, they don't hand out trophies in the divisional round, BMO. ACC Elite, people are saying that's kind of what it goes into, BMO. These bowl games today, the bowl games recently, right? They are single-handedly saving college football. And if you are somebody that didn't like the college football playoff and the expansion, shame on you. Are the first-round games where we want them to yet? No. But the quarterfinals and the semifinals this year are going to be absolutely electrifying. And it's like we've been saying for years. You have got to let these things play out. Stop sticking your hands in stop opening the oven when you're roasting the prime rib, because it's not going to cook evenly. You just make this beautiful prime rib that is college football, and you stick it in the oven, and you let it cook, and you leave a thermometer in there. And you trust the product, and you trust your work, and you just let it take place. And right now, it's not the super conferences. It's not NIL. It's not some stupid committee that's saving college football. It is the players on the field. I mean, Iowa and Vanderbilt played today when everybody says, oh, the bowls don't matter. These games don't matter. The SEC's running around like, oh, we scheduled people in the front half. They don't matter. Right now, what Miami is doing is the number 10 seed, right? Let's not forget, that's a 10 seed, and just upset the number 2 seed. That product right there is exactly why the college football playoff was invented, is because we wanted to see if we put the right teams in there, can we get the games that we want? And this game, for the most part, was awesome. It was hard-hitting. There weren't any penalties until like the fourth quarter. There was an accepted penalty, and it was just two defenses with athletes all over the field, just button heads, going at it, and we're going to go through kind of rundown, but I just want to take my hat off and salute to Miami and Ohio State for an absolutely slobber knocker of a game, and salute to college football for saving itself. Get it out of the people in the committees, behind the walls, sitting in rooms, and let them play it on the field, and we're getting some absolutely fantastic football. If the rest of the games like this are like this, what it was, yes, exactly. The first holding penalty was BS. If the rest of the games tomorrow are like this, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? Can you imagine being one of the people who was against expanding it to 12 teams? Are you kidding me? I mean, man. So we start before the game, right? Before the game, we get the graphic Carson Beck, 14-3 versus ranked opponents. It's that was the big question. Which quarterback was going to have the cojones to get down there and take on these defenses and make the timely plays? But to Julian Saint's credit, he got it going late, but it just wasn't enough. They couldn't climb out of the hole that the Miami defense, my gosh. The Miami defense, especially the defensive front and on the offensive front, Miami was just slobber knockers, just absolute units out there, some absolute specimens. It was unbelievable. I mean, I put out a tweet or a post before the game started. I was like, this game is going to be won by the Miami front or Julian Saint's ability to get out of trouble from the Miami's front, because Marcel Reed couldn't do it. They were all over Marcel Reed. Marcel Reed's one of the most mobile, elusive quarterbacks in the country. So he's the Mario Cristobal trust. Caps. Are you an Ohio State fan? By the way, people listening to the podcast, we record this in front of a live virtual audience. So you hear me shout out people on the podcast at all times. Gray Max says they shouldn't have lost. I guess we got some Ohio State fans in here. Man, the other weird thing before the game started. First of all, Michael Irvin and Ray Lewis. Look, you can be at the game, but it's not about you. It's about the team. But I mean, obviously, they're content creators or in the media, whatever. And I was asking the question. Oh, it's BMAC. That's who that is. What's up, B McCormick? Always the best. B McCormick's the best. Did Michael Irvin rent out his old stomping grounds house in Dallas? You know what I'm saying? The one that he famously rented out as the Cowboys. Secondly, the coin toss. We gotta address the coin toss. They always do it like that. I mean, I watch a lot of football. I guess I don't really pay attention too much before. I mean, the game. But no one calls the coin toss. I feel like that's a disadvantage. I feel like somebody should call the coin toss. You can't be like, all right. I mean, part of the pageantry of the game is to. He said Mario's are officially back. Hey, shout out Super Mario Brothers Galaxy, also back. But I feel like you should at least have somebody call the coin toss, not the referee. I mean, of course, it was an SEC ref. Of course, the SEC ref wanted to call the coin toss. So that makes sense now. I got it. But the coin was massive. The coin looked like a one of those Power Rangers things they used to do this with. The thing was absolutely insane. But Hurricanes, or Miami, 6-0 versus ranked team this year. Shout out them. The first quarter, let's just go right down through this thing. The first quarter, Miami's defensive line on the first drive. They had what's that guy's name? I cannot remember his name. Bain and the other dude for Miami, the Messidor. Those two guys, and Jacoby Thomas was everywhere. Shout out that guy for getting the pick. But Thomas, Bain, and Messidor, and Keontae Scott, what a play. They were everywhere, dude. Like, Miami's offensive and defensive line were ferocious. They were bullying people. I mean, I did not expect that to happen to Ohio State, of all teams. Like, Ohio State's usually the hammer, not the nail. So we start off, and there's no score in the first quarter. Let me get back to my notes here. We in the first quarter, that third down sack on Ohio State's first drive, I was like, man, that's going to be a long night for Julian Saint if that's how it's going to be. And it pretty much was the entire night, except for a period in the second half. Miami fumbles twice. They lost one. Fletcher lost one. And that guy, by the way, Fletcher also a specimen. Miami's got dudes. How did they lose to SMU and Louisville? How? I mean, I guess the ACC, dude. Like, again, that goes back to the point of you can't let people in a room decide who the best conference is and who the best teams are. Like, you've got to let them play it out. So, I mean, we're watching right now, all those teams in the SEC not winning a lot of games. So Miami had those 2 fumbles. Tony fumbled, after they put up the stat of Malachi Tony hasn't dropped a pass all year. And the next play, the ball slips out of his hands and he fumbles. So he didn't drop the pass, but it's just like, you don't say that. You just like the kicker's getting ready to kick something, and you're like, hey, he hasn't missed inside 40 yards all year, and then shank. Like, come on. The offensive line was pushing them around. Miami's offensive game plan was to let Ohio State be aggressive early on, and then they were trying to hit Fletcher out of the backfield, but there was a lot of quick breaking out routes, underneath stuff for Miami. But Carson Beck was pretty efficient early on. He was nervous. You could tell he underthrew a few balls, but and Julian, I think Miami or Ohio State had the ball twice in the first half. Like if we go back and look at all Ohio State had the ball twice. They had a 3 and out for -7 yards. And then they had 4 plays for 16 yards, and then they had to punt again. So, I mean, there was just not a lot of moving around. So, what a game. Like, how lucky are we? Like, if we get 3 more games like that, he says, here we go with the ACC favorite. I'm not ACC favoritism. I don't have a dog in the fight. Like, I made college football favoritism. Like, I want to see that. I want to see, don't tell me who the best team is without having teams play. That's all I'm saying. Let them play. Let the games matter. Don't tell me one conference is better than the other. Yes, no Purdy slander either. That's exactly right. So in the second quarter, we come right out. Miami was driving down the field at the end of the first quarter. We hit the touchdown to Fletcher on a 13-play, 83-yard, 8-minute drive. Like, Miami was just big boying them there. Again, you don't see Ohio State get pushed around like that. And then the very next play, big bomb from Ohio State to Jeremiah Smith, who's an absolute freak. I mean, there were just specimens all over the field there. Like, Smith, huge play in the second quarter for Ohio State. Then a sack. Again, here's that pressure. Put him in second and long, or second or third and long for Ohio State after that big play to Smith in the second quarter. Then, very next play, they run a very predictable bubble screen that, Keontae Scott jumps it, and then it's off to the races. Boom, pick 6. Miami's up 14-0. Jeremiah Smith didn't really, I don't know what he was trying to do blocking Keontae Scott, but it didn't work. And then the whole thing, like, you had the horrible call by on the third down in the second quarter when Beck was ruled short on that, Miami was driving and they had to stop the game and review because his knee hit. He tried to run and dive forward to the first down. They said it was a yard short. But by halftime, Miami's time of possession was 19:30 to Ohio State's 10:30 or whatever it is. Yeah. So they had doubled up Ohio State's time of possession. And then Ohio State missed a field goal at the half. One of the weirdest situations, the other Mario brought this up. The whole Brian Hartline thing, who just got hired at USF to be the head coach. Ryan Day was calling plays, but Hartline was on the sideline. So it was just kind of this weird relationship and you could tell that Ryan Day, it took him a minute to get into rhythm, but it just seems like that's a weird thing to do. Like, if you're going to have him on the sideline, I mean, I guess you would assume that I'm not a coach, or I don't have any, inner workings of the coaches, but just the fact that Hartline was on the sideline but wasn't calling plays, was he an advisor? What was he doing? I mean, why else would you have him on the sidelines? Like, do you think he's this part of the South Florida Brotherhood now, and he's just going to submarine the play calling? I mean, the play calling for Ohio State did get better in the second half, but, if you're I'm sitting there watching that game and I'm like, I haven't thought much of Julian Sayin all year. I feel like they've just been playing with house money, and their defense was so damn good that it didn't matter what he did really. He just had to get a few touchdowns with the best athletes on the field, but Miami had athletes to match him, especially up front. But then you watch Julian Sand under pressure and see what he does under pressure, and if he can get the ball out. And he got better in the second half, but they just got in too big of a hole. So Julian Sand kind of looked overwhelmed, but he's young, and Carson Beck's been in these situations for 3 years now or whatever it is. So, and it's not like Carson Beck was lighting the world on fire, but he didn't. Julian Sand had 2 interceptions, but the one was bad, but I think that was just a bad play call. It was just a bad design. It was a poor effort by Jeremiah Smith to try to block, and it was a great play by Keontae Scott. So, but it was just the question, I guess, has always been, does Julian Sand in the Ohio State offense? This made me so upset. Always be yourself is here. How did it make you so upset? Let it out. Let it out. The game, you're exactly right. The game was insane. That I don't know that you're going to find 2 teams with better athletes. I mean, I'm going to look at we got Alabama and Indiana, we got Oregon and Texas Tech. Georgia and Ole Miss might have some specimens, but that game right there, there were blue chips all over the field. I mean, that's a creative player game almost right there. That was insane. That's, I would say Julian Sand and Carson Beck were probably the least impressive athletes on that field. Like, the 2 quarterbacks were the Achilles heels of those teams, and as far as I'm concerned, because the rest of the dudes are outrageous. So Ohio State had the whole Heartline, Ryan Day calling, the message boards are going to rip Ryan Day apart. There's no question about that. They're gonna rip him apart, but that just is what it is. I mean, that's why it sucks that there's no structure and there's no rules and regulations to your college football season, that a coach that's been part of the team all year can just leave and take another job, and then basically it derails a team, one of the best teams in the country, right before a quarterfinal game. That's so stupid. That's like, it's, what else are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? Yeah, he said, because always be yourself, says, because I love Ohio State football. I love them since I was young. And I really was hoping and praying we would win. And number 4 got hurt. And I wish they did better in the first half. Yeah. Oh, yeah. App State by 20, dude. I'm telling you. App State's in a bad place right now, man. Back whenever we played there, me and the guys played there, we were a wagon. Now it's just it's shambles. I don't know what to do. Ohio State, again, the Heartline thing is weird. Ryan Day's talking right now. But they had -3 rushing yards at the half. They were 1 of 6 on third downs, Ohio State was. And again, 0 penalties in the first half. But I mean, if you're Ohio State, you have -3 rushing yards and you're 1 of 6 on third down. You got your butt whooped in the first half. Period. Like, Miami showed up with bad intentions. So, we come down to the third quarter. Oh, yeah. Oh, Ohio State was favored to win. I was like, no way that just happened. You mean tonight? Yeah, Ohio State was like 9.5-point favorites opening up. I don't think anybody it just shows, not a lot of people probably watched ACC football. Not a lot of people probably watched Miami. Like, it just goes to show that when you watch, there you go. There it is right there. Teams with a first round bye in the College Football Playoff are 0-5. Like, that's what I was saying. But I don't think a lot of people watched Miami, or ACC football, right? Because they're not, you look at them, you're like, oh, they're not marquee games. But when you watch Miami play, you could tell at Texas Tech, like, you're sitting there watching them square up against Texas Tech, and you're like, dude, Miami, they got, Texas Tech has athletes everywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Texas Tech has got athletes or Texas A&M has athletes all over the place. And Miami was just pushing them around. Miami's pushed everybody around. So whoever they get next round is going to be, you might get the Carson Beck revenge game against Georgia, which if you think college football is rigged, then there you go. There's your angle. But, we don't need every play. Or maybe we do. In the third quarter, there was nothing. There was a touchdown Um, 11. So I'd say nothing in third quarter. I missed a whole dad blame thing. Third quarter, there was a huge a touchdown. 11 play, 82-yard drive, 6 minutes, and that brought it to 14-7. And then Miami, I said there wasn't anything that happened in the third quarter. It's 10 points. Hey, way to go. Have a day, AK. And then Miami went back down and got a field goal to push it to 17-7. But as far as action, I didn't have anything written down, which is weird. Normally I write stuff down, at least something. And then in the fourth quarter, this is when it got fun, baby. We had that 10-play, 75-yard drive. Jeremiah Smith, just dudes crashing into each other all over the place. Incredible. We get the punt. We get another punt. And then we get the 10-play, 70-yard drive, 5-minute drive to close. I mean, Miami got the ball back with 5 minutes to go, and they did not give it back. They were converting for third downs, long runs by what's his face, Fletcher, and the other guy they got, and they were just chunk play after. I mean, you just don't see Ohio State get pushed around like that. And then of course the interception by Sam, but at that point it was Ohio State let them score. Ohio State let them score, but it was just kind of like, why? Your offense you've only scored 14 points, and been a struggle to get that. So, but anyways, but what a drive to close it out. I mean, you could tell Carson Beck knew when to kind of push the throttle and when not to push the throttle, all that stuff. He's always be yourself, says, I mean, Ohio State, other than that, really had a good season. We didn't have enough time to score again. Yeah, I mean, look, Ohio State had a great season. I just don't think people understood who was I hoping to win. I just wanted a good game. Truth to be told, I don't care if Ohio State or Miami won. I just don't want the SEC to win. I'm having a lot of fun during this bowl season watching the SEC get smoked. And I think that's the thing. Like, the issue with college football is they're trying to concentrate and narrow the scope so much to a certain pool of teams that they're influencing people to not pay attention to other schools and to other conferences. They're making it all about the ACC and the SEC and the Big Ten. And then you watch a Texas Tech or you watch a Miami play and you're like, holy smokes, these guys got players out here. And so it's a bad job by the people who are in charge and the media members who get to talk about this all the time. And that's why we started our show, because we're not going to sit here and let that happen, because you got to watch all of it. You have to watch all the games. Like, if you're a fan of a team, I get it. You're an Ohio State fan, great. You're an Alabama fan, great. You're going to watch your team. But then you can't go around being like, oh, well, Miami doesn't belong. Why? I mean, if you've watched, I don't have App State is my team. So I watch App State, and then I watch I don't have any ties to any other thing. But I watch a lot of football. And so when I watch Miami play, I'm like, they got dudes. Like, there's no question that if you don't think that Miami can't line up with and go toe to toe with some of these big dogs, you're out of your mind. And people are when people watch Texas Tech, they're going to think the same thing. I remember watching Texas Tech, and I'm sitting there early on. I'm like, holy smokes. And even BYU had some dudes on defense. And it's just like the narrative that, oh, these guys are playing a different game. No, they're not. Like, it's not that big of a gap anymore. I mean, everybody that was an expert thought and lectured Ohio State top to bottom has the best athletes on the field. They're first round draft picks all over the field. And Miami went out there and just punched them in the face. So, that's the beauty of college football. Like, Miami had made up their mind that, like, Ohio State had all this prestige and they were the defending champs, and they were 10-point favorites. And the best part about football is that when all is said and done, you blow the whistle, you kick the ball off, and you got 60 minutes to hit each other in the face and see who comes out. And that's what they're trying to take from us by predetermining all these matches with these stupid preseason rankings and these dumb committees and all this stupid nonsense. So, but anyways, saying in the fourth quarter, saying got hot. He was 8 for 8 there for a while, and he was trying to will him back into the game. And he had that touchdown to Smith, and then again, Miami got the ball back 5 minutes ago and just sucked the air out of it. So, a couple of things. The score bug had this little part of it that had a yellow thing that would come up and be like, "Oh, it's third down," or it would flash yellow and then change downs, or flash yellow and like switch balls. And it's like you're watching that as a fan and you're like, dude, you can't have a yellow marker also be on there because the flag is yellow. So every time that yellow stupid thing flashes, it makes me think there's a flag. So you got to fix the score bug. You have got to not have yellow distractions on that score bug. So, and secondly, the Cotton Bowl trophy is the worst trophy of all of them. And we don't need trophies in the quarterfinals. So the MVP for the offense was Mark Fletcher from Miami. Offensive MVP had 90 yards and a receiving touchdown. And then Keontae Scott, number 0, he had the pick 6, which is incredible. Now, here's the deal. I should have led the show with this. And B. McCormick called me on it. I made a power ranking of top 12 teams in the playoff, the 12 teams. We power ranked them based off of who we thought, or basically it was me, I don't drag the other guys into this, of who we thought had the best chance to win the college football playoff based on their path. And Miami opened up with Texas A&M, and then they were going to have to play Ohio State. So I thought they had the hardest path, and here they are upsetting both of them. I had them at 12 in our power rankings for the playoffs. And then I put them I think I put them at 7 this week. Or maybe I put them at 8. Hold on, let me find that real quick. But yeah, I was a non-believer. I was just mad at Miami because I thought BYU should have been in. And now, looking back, the Oklahoma, I said this though, Oklahoma shouldn't have been in. The SEC, there's no way the SEC should have 5 teams in based off of the results that we're seeing right now. So, we're going to talk about that tomorrow night. We're going to do a 3-game recap tomorrow night at 9:30. And do our normal, everybody's going to be here show. But I'm telling you right now. Oh, yeah. So I re-ranked them. And if you could see this right here, go check our socials. But I re-ranked them in order of who I thought had the best path to the college football playoff. And again, I put Miami at 7 because they were playing Ohio State, who I put at 2. I was like, there's no way Miami is going to beat. Now, I did take Miami plus 9.5. I'll tell you that. But I'm just like everybody else. I was sitting there thinking, I did not expect. I didn't expect Miami to come out there and be that physical. But I'll tell you this right now. Early on, when I saw Miami dominate the line of scrimmage in the first quarter, I was like, oh man, this is not good for Ohio State. You can see that early on. You watch enough football, you can see that early on. Anyways, Miami wins 24-14. College football is being saved right before our very eyes. Don't let anybody tell you anything different. So let's take a look at the box score here, or the team stats. I love the box score. They're the team stats. Carson Beck, 19-26, 138 and 1, 95 QBR. Fletcher had the 90 yards. Chamar Brown, that's the other guy, 26 yards. He had a touchdown to ice the game. 153 total yards rushing for Miami. That's pretty good. And then Ohio State only ran for 45, and Sand threw for 287. And he had the pick 6, which was just backbreaking. Jeremiah Smith, man, 7 receptions, 157 yards, and a touchdown. Just that guy's going to be a star. Carnell Tate too. Carnell Tate had a throw late in the game where he got gator arms and he still got popped. So, and Tony had 2 fumbles. He wasn't as involved as I thought he would be, but I guess they didn't really need him. So, Caleb Downs was all over the field for Ohio State. He's going to be, it's just, and Arvell Reese, like they've just got dudes everywhere, man. And Jacoby Thomas, I'm pretty sure he was a transfer from Jack State. So, but anyways, just the defensive front for Miami, Bain and Messidor, just absolute monsters. Love it. And then third down efficiency, Ohio State finished 3 out of 10. you can't. It's hard to win that way. They did outgain Miami, and rushing for 45 yards is a tough look. There was only 2 penalties. They were both on Ohio State. 2 turnovers by Ohio State, but they were the pick six obviously was the difference in the game. But thank goodness Miami did fumble, because I mean it would have been 21-0. So, but I mean that's it. Take a look at the updated bracket. 24-14 Miami ACC. Like, the Big 10 and the Big 12 have been kind of dominating bowl season, and everybody's kind of like, well, the ACC is kind of middle. I mean, Duke won today. So the cream of the crop of the ACC is playing up to its standard. Virginia won. They beat Missouri. Like, the big dog ACC schools have come to play. So, we get, Ole Miss and Georgia tomorrow. We get Alabama, Indiana. We started off with Oregon and Texas. Oh my gosh, man! I'm not doing anything tomorrow. I'm just gonna watch football. Noon we get Texas Tech, Oregon. 4 o'clock Alabama, Indiana, and then the nightcap. We'll be coming on like halfway through that game, and we'll ride it out at the end during the show. Ole Miss, Georgia. Miami moves on. They play the winner of Ole Miss, Georgia. Incredible. What a. We'll recap these other 3 games tomorrow, and then we'll talk some other bowl information. Then we'll talk a little bit of Saturday night NFL as my Niners go for the 1 seed. Told you. Millie endorsed cute. But, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the abbreviated version of our Thursday night or our Wednesday night show, Thursday morning podcast, and we'll be back with another one tomorrow, the full show, the full hour and a half show. And then Saturday, we've got one more NFL Pick'em show, unless we're going to do a playoff version, which we might. So we got 2 more shows this week. I just hope everybody has a safe and happy New Year. I'm sure a lot of people are out right now not listening to me, but if you catch the podcast, appreciate you tuning in. Everybody have a happy New Year. It's our year, 2026. Let's get it right, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the Cotton Bowl recap instant show. B. McCormick's here. Everybody on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate all the comments. Go follow us on all of our social medias, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter. That's usually where we do most of our work, on Twitter, at Millie Goats and at the Millie Goats. Type in the Millie Goats anywhere you find your podcast. 3 times a week right now during football season. That might reduce during golf season, but we're doing everything we can. We love doing this. We appreciate everybody's support. Millie Goats, anywhere, type it in, anywhere you find your podcast show. B. McCormick, Happy New Year, my friend. Always appreciate you in here on YouTube, on Rumble. You're always in here, man. You're one of a kind. We appreciate it. All right, everybody, Happy New Year. We'll see you tomorrow night. Play some music here.